Oh, hey there, and welcome to the Ope-Eh Three-Way Pro Wrestling Podcast on this episode 46. But fellas, this particular episode is a very, very special one. Maybe for not on the dot reasons, but fellas, let me ask you, Donnie Pierce, obviously, always. Fellas, do you know what we're celebrating today?
You being not able to get the sound of a can opening on your phone.
Did it really not come through again?
Yeah, it didn't. You really got to work on that.
Oh man, I
It
just
sounded like
got
this.
out of my feedback. Oh,
Yeah.
But
I mean, not my intention.
We're celebrating a stacked weekend in professional wrestling, and we're celebrating 1 year of Ope-Eh.
Hey, and Ope, but not in that order.
Oh, yes! I love that!
Woo! Did you catch that? Did that pick up?
No.
We got the W.
You guys got to hit the tones that you would expect to be able to hear on frequencies, not that high-pitched prepubescent stuff.
Fine. Woo! How's that?
Yeah.
Is that ballsy enough for you, Don?
There we go.
Yeah, you
All
like
the
that.
testosterone.
You like that.
Do you want me to start mouthing the Cody Rhodes entrance for you so you can hit the whoa real quick, Brandon?
I mean, you know how I feel about that whoa. I don't hit the whoa. I didn't woo at WrestleMania
Okay, guys,
41.
we have way too much shit to cover today. No offense.
Yes,
do
we do.
Sing-alongs for a shorter episode. Apologies, but I'm not really that sorry. Happy 4th of July post as well to you guys.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah,
cheers to your Canada Day as well.
Yeah, my typical hating on American-related things was earlier on today when I was trying to make a recipe and it asked for a stick of butter. What the fuck is a stick of butter? Do I just take a stick and poke the butter?
I'm sorry,
and
what?
Then put it's a measurement. It's an American measurement for butter. A stick
Your
of
butter
butter.
not
It's an American measurement?
stick.
No, it comes in a pound. We get a pound of butter. And then it's just you got your half cup and your quarter cup and not a stick.
Our sticks come wrapped up and they say quarter, half, 3/4, 1. They're usually 2 cups of butter in a stick.
Yeah, but that's
Are you buying it by the tub?
No. We buy a pound of butter that's a literal cube. It's wrapped once.
Oh, like a brick?
Yeah, like a brick.
Like a brick
it's
of butter?
basically like a mini brick, yes. But my recipe said I needed a stick, and I'm like, what the fuck is a stick?
2 cups. Normally. Sometimes you get 1 cup sticks, but
As part of the civilized world, Donnie, you should be knowing this stuff. We got Google and everything. Did you Google it? Did it give you a measurement?
Yeah, I Googled it and put it into terms that everybody else outside of the 50 states would understand, so.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
Sing-alongs. Do we have time to talk about butter?
Yes, we do. Especially when my microphone dominates the conversation. You got to check
Why
your
don't
cadence.
Why don't you butter up our socials and fucking promote them?
Segue.
Wow.
Yes. Follow us
Beautiful.
on the socials. That is X. That is Facebook.
One of my better
That is
segues
Twitter.
lately.
That is Instagram. That is TikTok. That is...
Drop kicked.
Sure, I'm always going to forget that one because I don't really consider that social media, but...
Yeah, but it's fun.
Follow us on all those. And then obviously get our content on YouTube and Spotify. Those aren't social medias. That's where you just find our shit.
Oh, yeah. The good shit.
Yes. With that
Good
said,
shit.
we got to cover a lot of shows today. We got to cover Great American Bash, Saturday night's main event, Evolution, and AEW's All In. So,
Wow.
yeah, we're not going to sit or wait around. We are going to get right into things.
Well, we'll talk about a dead promotion first. WCW hold Bash at the Beach.
Wait,
Center.
whoa.
Don't even.
I thought you were talking about Ring of Honor there for a second.
Don't even. No, that's not. That's categorically false. It's just in remission.
The
Remission means it's coming back.
Yeah,
it is the opposite of remission.
Nah,
it is
listen,
clinging to life, if anything.
Still working on that
cancer.
TV deal, boys.
Basically stage 4 at this point, but
It's
sorry.
in a coma.
It's coming back.
Anyway,
Low-hanging fruit. Sorry, I couldn't help myself.
The show is infamous. This is 2000 Bash at the Beach, to be specific. It's very infamous for the WCW Championship match between Hollywood Hulk Hogan and then champion Jeff Jarrett.
Oh God.
Hogan famously played his creative control,
Oh.
and it ended with Jarrett laying down with Russo throwing in the title and Hogan pinning with his foot because he wanted to leave the show champion. There's a Dark Side of the Ring episode that does an amazing job explaining it. After that happened, Russo would come back out and cut a shoot promo on Hogan where he called him a bald piece of shit and a bunch of stuff. Hogan would end up suing WCW and would sit out the rest of his contract. And at the end of the night, they had a second main event between Jeff Jarrett and Booker T, and Booker T would end the night as WCW World Champion.
Sounds like a typical night in WCW.
In 2000.
Especially at that time. Yes, to be, of course. Well, Jeff Jarrett was champion, of course. Unfortunately.
We'll jump ahead a year where WCW has at this point been bought by the WWF, and on WWF Raw, ECW and WCW would come together and form the alliance.
Mm-hmm.
That went well for them.
That was 23 years ago today.
God damn. I don't like to think about it like that. Man. Where did the time go, boys?
No kidding.
Fucking A.
Jump ahead 16 years to 2017. WWE holds one of its dumbest named pay-per-views ever of Great Balls of Fire.
Oh, hell yeah. What a great show that was.
It was
It was a great show.
surprisingly great. It had that ambulance match, which is probably the best ambulance match of all time between Roman and Braun, where Roman crashes the ambulance and Braun walks off. It was awesome. And then the main event, Brock Lesnar would defeat Samoa Joe in their only singles match for the Universal title.
Great opening for that match, though. I was confident that Joe was going to keep an edge on Brock for most of that match.
He should have won. Joe should have won.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Vince wants to have his only one F5, and then Roman kicks out of 40 of them at WrestleMania and still loses.
That drove me up a wall.
And then happy birthday. We'll throw some happy birthdays out there. Throw it up to the leader of the Wolfpack, Kevin Nash.
Big Kev. Diesel.
Big Daddy Cool. And happy birthday to one half of the AEW Tag Team Champions, Mr. Shelton Benjamin, a man who should have been world champion.
No, he shouldn't have.
Yes, he should have.
No, he shouldn't have.
But we'll get an AEW in, I would assume, a long time here. I'd say a little bit, but we got 4 million shows to go over.
We do.
And, let's start with Great American Bash, boys.
Yeah, we're going to start with the WWE shows. There's 3 of them this weekend, and we're just going to go in chronological order for these. So the Great American Bash will be at the Center Stage in Atlanta, Georgia. It'll be starting at 3 p.m. Eastern this Saturday. I might be watching. It depends on what the weather's like, but I do expect to watch a lot of wrestling this weekend for what it's worth.
You don't really have...
Be watching all in.
So maybe I'll catch that after.
We'll get to the rest of the shows and whatnot. But for this show, there's 5 matches currently on the card, and I guess it's going to be just these 5 matches, considering NXT has already happened. And we'll start off with Javon Evans versus Jasper Troy.
I haven't been following NXT too thoroughly, so I apologize.
Wow.
So I don't have much to say about it, but I'm going to go with the bouncy boy, Javon Evans.
Brandon?
I mean, Jasper Troy's an interesting case. I feel like they're kind of like Ope-Ehing him in a way. They're putting him off real strong to start. Granted, I don't know. I've seen a little bit of Jasper's stuff. He's all right. He's not bad. He's got room to improve. I don't know. This one might go to no contest. I don't know that. I'm pretty sure Jasper ain't going to pin Javon because they're still trying to ride Javon up. But at the same time, does Jasper Troy take another big spotlight pinfall after having lost his world championship match or NXT championship match rather to Ope-Ehing?
Yeah,
that's a hard one too.
That's my consideration there too. Is he did already get kind of rushed into a title match. So he won LFG well, it was televised. Geez, when was this? This would have been in May that the finals would have been televised, and but mind you, the filming for that was in March. But even still, from May to June, in 1 month, he already got a title match. Lost to Oba in a decent match. But to have him lose again here, I don't think makes a lot of sense if you're trying to actually put some legitimacy on this guy's name early on. So
Right.
I think Jasper wins here, and Booker T will call him a monster about 70 times during the match.
He needs something to fill air after Stephanie went away.
True.
Shucky ducky quack quack, boys.
Next up is a Falls Count Anywhere match for the NXT North American Championship. Ethan Page defends against Ricky Saints.
Can we just talk about how funny it is that they're running this across from All In? Like,
Would you expect anything else, though?
oh, absolutely
I mean-
not. But this match specifically is just funny to me for that. It's pretty. I don't know who's going to win this. It's going to be tough because either one of these guys could come up to the main roster at any time.
For sure.
They were saying Saints was getting a call up immediately, and now there's been rumors that either one of them is going to be in Seth's faction of the Visionary Boys.
Do they even have a name at this point?
Basically, just call them the Vision. They're the
Seth-
Vision.
I mean,
The Seth Riders.
Solo's faction. The Seth Riders. I mean, shit, Solo's faction even got a name before Seth's. That's wild.
NFTs,
But-
baby. But, with that, I would say if they're going to bring anybody up, I would like to see Ethan come up first. I love Ricky Saints. I'm Ricky Saints stan. I think he could cook a little bit longer in NXT. I think Ethan has been main roster ready since he probably lost the NXT title. So I'm going to say Ricky is going to regain the belt here.
I feel like that's a pretty good assertion. I feel like Ethan, if he is going to abide by rumors and show up with Seth, I mean, there's already, and maybe we get on this a little later too, but if you saw on Raw, like Braun and Bronson kind of, I don't know how much they like really gel with or respect Seth Rollins as kind of like a leader. So like, I'm already wondering when that stable is going to fall apart. So then when you add a guy like Ethan Page into the mix, who's clearly about himself, he's all ego after all, right? So how does a personality like that stay somewhat underneath Seth Rollins in a tier, or how does he let Seth take spotlight where he could be getting that feature? You know what I mean? So
It'd be kind of like when MJF joined the Inner Circle, and then he kind of splintered off and made the Pinnacle.
pretty fast, yeah, might I add to that.
So
They also
I-
just
I-
align in their hatred of CM Punk.
that is accurate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that's actually, I didn't think about that. That's actually a good point.
Yes.
So maybe that keeps it in check. We shall see. But I, to your point, Pierce, I do think that Starks does stick around NXT for a bit.
Sorry.
Whether, huh?
Saints. Can't use his slave name,
Did I misname him?
which is a terrible thing for me to say because it's actually his name, and that's what stupid people on the internet say about former wrestling names. But my point
Which is
stands.
his
Yes,
i.e. real names.
Yes. I
Sorry,
realize
I'm being
it
an
was
elitist.
lowercase.
I'm being an all elitist over here,
Yes.
using his real name, but yeah, no, Saints sticks around in NXT. Ethan, I mean, yeah, I'd say probably like around SummerSlam time, or even with whenever that's coming, the draft, right? That's still
Are we?
pending
I
on the
don't even know if
horizon.
we're even getting a draft at this point, and that's probably okay. But
Yeah, I mean, I think they're still talking about it, and I mean, with the way things are switching up, like they have Money in the Bank, right? I don't know, shit's weird in WWE right now. Like they're gonna have Money in the Bank late next year. The draft is happening in summer, allegedly. So I don't know. Shit's all up in the air. They're getting goofy over there. They're moving to Vegas. Shit. I don't know.
love that.
But in any case, yes. Start Saints, yes. See, I almost said it again.
Okay. I think Ricky Saints also wins. I don't think there's anything really left for Ethan Page. He's been NXT champion. He's been North American champion. He's not the kind of guy to be a tag team champion. Let's get the show on the road for him and get him up to the main roster.
Well,
At
if
least not
somebody
anymore.
else joined NXT when his contract with TNA was up, he could have been a tag team champion, but he is all elite.
Yeah, well, we're not waiting around for anything like that either, I don't think, at this point. So, next is for the NXT Women's North American Championship. Sol Ruca defends against Izzy Dame.
Soul's keeping it warm till either she turns heel or Zarya does. So Soul.
Well, Zarya makes the most sense to me within that context, but in any case, I don't see her losing it to Izzy Dame.
I
So
think
Sol Ruca's.
No disrespect to Dame, she's great. But
she's actually been very good, honestly.
Sol's in a very good position to be North American champion, though. So I'll just say that I see her attaining that.
For the Evolution Battle Royal.
skipping ahead.
No, but this is relevant to the conversation here. There were 6 names from NXT announced last night, and that was. Let me see. Do we actually have a list here handy? I do.
I know Lash.
Jada Parker, Lola Voice, Kalani Jordan, Lash Legend, Tatum Paxley, and Izzy Dame are on that list. So I don't think that Izzy wins based on the fact that she's in a battle royal and Sol Ruca isn't.
I mean, they could do the shock switch because they are in that tag match.
That's true. I literally was thinking about that as I said it, but
I think, like I said, it's going to be Soul and Zarya at their next really big show. So
yeah, I would agree. I actually like this story that's been going on with Soul and Zarya as well as the culling. It's been going for a number of weeks now, and I wouldn't be surprised actually if Izzy Dame wins here with some help by Tatum Paxley, but I still think that Soul and Zarya is the inevitable endgame for Soul's reign, so I'm going to say Soul retains.
Agreed. Yep, I agree.
Next up, we have tag match of Jordan Grace and Blake Monroe versus Fatal Influences, JC Jane and Fallon Henley.
I really like.
Go ahead, Brandon.
I really like the dynamic of Jordan Grace and Blake Monroe. I hope they do big things together. I mean, that split's gonna be inevitable, and it's still gonna hurt regardless. But I like it. It gives me like Team Hell No kind of vibes. So
I seriously doubt that Blake Monroe is going to lose her first match in NXT, and specifically on NXT TV. I expect her and Jordan to win, and then that heel turn. Blake's going to turn heel. I mean, she's a natural heel. The glamour is better as a heel, as we've seen. So, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, to this point, I feel like that's most all what we've seen. Yeah.
But she was a face for a little bit until she won the Owen. So.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, I think Blake pins JC Jane. Then we'll see a result in the match we'll talk about later that doesn't align with that, and then you see the heel turn from there. I think the face tag team wins this one. And the main event, well, I don't know if this is actually going to be the main event, but the last match I have here on my list is for the NXT Championship. Ope-Eh defends against Yoshiki Inamura.
I mean, if that's the main event, then I don't know.
I have one thing to say about it.
Big meaty man slapping meat.
That being said, I expect that Oba retains. I expect it to be a hoss fight. I don't have much else from that.
I have no reason to believe that Oba loses that match. I don't believe it's hard to believe he's actually under threat in this match, really.
That's been the
But
case with a lot of Oba matches in this reign, and I think it kind of speaks a bit to the general weakness of the men's roster. Like, they're really lacking. Like, I wouldn't even say Oba's a heel anymore, but they're really
he's just a force
lacking.
of nature.
They're really lacking main event face talent in NXT because
Yes.
especially with turning Trick heel again. So
Yep.
Really good one in waiting, though. If they pull the trigger, I think, and this is maybe it's a hot take, I think Tavian Height should 100% beat Oba for the title.
I thought you were going to say Danhausen for just a second. Because I know how hype you were last week about him and his contract status and that.
Different. Danhausen versus Mr. Iguana will feed families.
well,
That
Ta-
Yes.
Tavion also lost his match to get out of the no quarter catch crew again this past Tuesday.
Well, then you could have Charlie win it as a heel and build that story with Tavion kind of escaping the no quarter catch crew. But I think Tavion will be NXT champion with him next year. He's so fucking good.
No, if I was to make a sequential trace a line here for where it goes, I would say Javon beats Oba, and then maybe you see Charlie Dempsey beat Javon, but like I don't think anyone's gonna beat Oba besides Javon. But anyways, Oba wins here.
Fair enough.
That covers
Yeah,
that.
Javon, though.
Yeah, I mean, there's not really many big face. I mean, the other option would be Ricky Saints, right? But I don't think
I
there's
mean,
much
and
face work there to have like
not really.
the underdog beat the monster that is Oba, right? That's probably the story
I
you
mean,
want to
that
tell.
Saints would, yeah, that'd be the one. I mean, Saints would be, I guess, the guy, but then that's not really like a long term option. Like you'd be looking at who'd be next to beat Ricky because Ricky would be main roster ready, by the time he wins the belt. Hell, he's probably main roster ready right now.
Yeah.
right.
And then you got to figure like who's your future guys? Like who are you bringing in from LFG? Who are you bringing in from literally anywhere else?
Evolve.
Like who are the
Any women's
AEW contracts
signings.
running up even?
Yeah.
Right?
Really.
Anything can happen at this point.
2 weeks into LFG for what it's worth, and BJ has been essentially a non-factor on that show. So I don't know if they're intentionally keeping him out of the spotlight early, but he has not really been a presence on that show.
Still my boy. So
He generates enough
It's not
attention on
about
social
that. I'm
media.
just talking about the actual like portrayal of the character on television.
the dipshit. As
Uh,
always.
there's also going to be a contract signing for Slammiversary's triple threat match. Joe Hendry, Mike Santana, and Trick Williams.
That's going to be a fucking banger. I'm going to get that one for sure. That's going to be a great match.
Well, they're doing a contract signing at.
Oh, I'm aware. No, I'm just saying the match for which they are signing the contract is going to be a bang.
Okay.
And I love it. I love this for Mike Santana too, personally. I think he's great. Oh, he's fucking incredible. I think he'll be the face of TNA after Joe Hendry inevitably heads for WWE. That's coming sooner than later, might I add. But yeah, sure to be a great one at Slammiversary, boys. I'll be skipped a little bit of TNA there this week because of the festivities and all the goodness. But yeah, I'll be covering that one pretty extensively. You can bet.
We'll move on to Saturday night's main event, which will be that evening from the State Farm Arena. Start time at 8 o'clock on Peacock and YouTube, anywhere outside of the United States. 3 matches have been scheduled for this. Again, it is 3 men's matches. There are no women's matches. I don't know if that's intentional this time around because of Evolution being the next night. But I feel like we had this conversation the last time a Saturday night's main event was booked where there was no women on that show until very, very last minute.
So that Friday, they added a match on that SmackDown, right?
Yes, that's right.
So
And that match
the
match they added was bad too, for what it's worth. That Zelina Chelsea Green match was not good, but
I think it's very intentional this time because Evolution. But
Three matches, starting with Randy Orton versus Drew McIntyre.
Oh, I'm so glad that DM Hunk is back. If I could,
I prayed for this and it happened.
I'm so glad he's back. He's
It's gonna slap. It's gonna slap.
been one of the MVPs since honestly the TKO era started, and since last year. And if I were to pick, I mean, Randy's coming off a loss, but I think, like I said last week, I think he's gonna probably turn heel sooner rather than later. And I think Drew coming back could use a win. They could do what they did with Drew and Jay earlier in the year, and just had to be a fluke, and then Drew beats the shit out of him after. But I think Drew's gonna win, and he's gonna kick his head clean off.
Wait, so Drew's gonna kick Randy's head?
Yeah, with the Claymore.
Oh. Okay. That's how usually when you say a match between Randy Orton and anybody and you talk about kicking someone's head off, it's usually
Yeah,
Randy
but
Orton
with
kicking
Drew,
someone's head off.
Randy punts people's head off. Drew cleanly kicks. Said, you know what, Brandon? What do you think?
I think Randy kicks, whereas Drew more so pushes with his foot.
Yeah, it's
You know
not
what I mean?
a kick involves a swinging motion.
If we're talking semantics.
Yeah, a kick
It's
involves
still a drop
like
kick. It's
so
a single leg drop kick.
if you watch hockey and you talk about a kicking motion, it involves the leg swinging like a pendulum, right? So, in that sense, a punt is very clearly a kick, and a drop kick isn't really a kick. But anyways,
We don't need to talk
It
about
involves the feet.
Orton's right now. We're talking wrestling.
I mean, he had a fair point, to be fair.
To be fair,
I feel, to be fair, I believe that Randy, in his upcoming heel turn, could probably afford to take one more L. And if nothing else, just to put Drew back on the map. Randy can afford this loss. Randy can afford plenty of losses. He's Randy Orton at this juncture. It could be like Cena. Like, how many matches did we say Cena lost continuously, and how long was he gone before he is now, the 17-time WWE champion, back where he was on top of every
4
card?
matches in a row, I think.
Cena
Randy
lost
Orton-
a match that was not a tag match he was in.
So, like, I guess to my point, Randy Orton is in a position similar to Cena where it doesn't matter how many matches he loses. He can ask for it tomorrow. Championship number 15 is right on his doorstep. And he's right at the top of the card where he's been for a good chunk of his career. So I think Drew is the guy to win this match, to get himself back into conversation and contention. And Randy will just do Randy things, likely on his way back to a heel turn.
I agree with Brandon.
He hears voices in his head.
Excellent.
I think Drew
They count.
McIntyre wins. He needs some momentum too. He hasn't won a match since WrestleMania.
That's true.
So,
although, has Randy won a match since Mania?
Yeah, he won
just
multiple King of the Ring matches.
Oh, duh. Jesus Christ almighty. Sorry. I didn't consider all the matches leading up to the final of the King of the Ring. Wow.
Yeah.
It's been a long day, boys. I am, pardon my rudeness. Anywho.
Next up is LA Knight versus Seth Rollins.
LA Knight needs to fucking win this match. It is.
He needs to.
And he should.
But will he?
It's tough to say, but he needs to win this match. I was talking about it last week where LA Knight, if he wins this match, could probably face Gunther at SummerSlam because it seems like he's a Raw superstar now versus SmackDown. He needs to win this match. If they don't, I think maybe it's hyperbole, but it's the death nail and world champion LA Knight happening. Because Seth Rollins does not need this win. He didn't need to win at Money in the Bank.
I think that ship sailed a bit ago.
But he got it.
What was that, Donnie?
I think that ship sailed a bit ago when he didn't win Money in the Bank, and Seth did.
That's the thing, right? He didn't need it, but he got it.
But LA Knight needs to win this match, and he 100% should.
I certainly won't argue with that based on principle, but I mean, when you also consider the fact that how many matches has Seth had now, where in spite of how good he is, and in spite of his Money in the Bank status, like he's got Braun and Bronson waiting to do dirty work on him. He's got Paul Heyman at his back corner. I mean, what does LA? I mean, I guess LA Knight has the faces, right? He's got Sammy to some lesser degree. He's got Penta,
Sammy's out
but
indefinitely.
that is true. You are correct about that. So he's
kind of had some
he's a
status.
man. Yep, he is out on the he is out on a boat without an oar right now. So he's got one oar. He's going to flounder along. He's going to do his damnedest to get to shore with this one, but in the end, I feel like the boat's going to just spring a leak, and LA Knight's going to sink, and Seth Rollins is coming out with a win. Unfortunately,
I think LA Knight wins.
we all know it.
LA Knight wins.
Oh, how do you figure?
Seth's gonna have to have a match at SummerSlam, which isn't that far away, and this is the gateway to build that match. So whether that's CM Punk or whether that's Roman Reigns, someone gets involved to save the day for LA Knight to win this match.
And historically, when somebody wins Money in the Bank, they often lose their singles matches leading into their cash-in.
Just ask Austin Theory.
Well, he was going to lose his cash-in anyway.
Yes.
No matter if it was on a mid-card or a world title.
So, yeah, but I think LA Knight
didn't know
wins.
he was going
I
to
think
cash in
LA
on
Knight wins
mid-card.
just to help build a feud for SummerSlam for Seth, because Seth needs a big match, but it can't be a title match because he's Money in the Bank. So, give him somebody that screws him over in this match, whether that's Punk or Roman.
Or Seth.
Like
or
X,
he just shows up limping.
it's X-Files, Donnie. It's X-Files. I want to believe. I want to believe. Crossing fingers.
Main event. It is for the World Heavyweight Championship, but it is also one person's retirement match. So, yeah, you can extrapolate that for what you will. Gunther defends the World Heavyweight Championship against Goldberg.
Now, say what you will about Goldberg, but he has been getting some great pops. He's still, even if he's kind of limping, he still looks great for his age. I'm going to say what I said to you guys months ago. Copy the Lesnar match to a T. 86 seconds, 2 spears. If he can lift him up for a jackhammer and actually get the jackhammer. Jackhammer, have Gunther kick out at 1 and have him maul him.
It's double up on the knee braces. That's all I'm going to say about it.
Ride off into the sunset. That was a beautiful shot, Brandon.
Of your feet and your junk.
Oh, damn. You got a 2-for-1 deal in that, eh?
For your
Normally I charge for that. But yeah, how about that Goldberg Gunter match? I think Goldberg. Oh god, the thing that bothers me about this buildup is the fact that Gunther's looked weak twice now, 2 weeks in a row, just flat on his ass from some old man. And secondly, Michael Cole keeps repeating the same point over again, which is the line that Goldberg dropped in the interview where he's like, well, what happens if you win the world title and you retire? And then he says, he quotes him, like, paraphrase, just like, he says, well, like, it's an interesting predicament. Or like, he keeps using that same line, which kind of makes me think that they're planning on Goldberg burying Gunther, rather. Sorry.
You throw around the term burial way too often.
I mean,
no, but in this context, it's entirely appropriate.
Hey. No. You can't right now, Pierce, because I know what you're trying to say, and that's not appropriate, because Goldberg winning a goddamn title match in 2025 is bullshit. Okay?
At 58 years old, bro?
We all saw what happened to The Fiend when he lost to fucking Goldberg.
I'm not saying it's not a burial, but Brandon, you do throw around that term.
That
quite
would
frequently.
be a Goldberg beating anybody.
Within this,
Goldberg beating Gilbert would be a burial at this point. Okay.
within context, it is entirely appropriate, and
Yes.
I may have been a little bit hyperbolic in the previous case where I talked about WrestleMania, and I own up to that. In this case, it's absolutely appropriate, categorically appropriate,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, Goldberg winning here would be catastrophic to Gunther. Shouldn't happen. Only way it does happen is if they decide they want Seth Rollins to be in a title match at SummerSlam. That's the only way I see Gunther winning, is Gunther winning and then an immediate Seth Rollins successful cash in to have him in the title match at SummerSlam. But the safe pick here certainly is Gunther winning the match.
I mean, I hope you're right for that, because I don't know. I'm going to have a little fucking conniption if Goldberg wins and then you see Seth come sauntering out. Even if Seth doesn't, like, what's going to happen if, my thought is if Goldberg wins, Seth saunters out, picks the bones, wins the World Heavyweight title on Saturday's main event, cashing in for the first time on that show. But what if it doesn't? Then Goldberg just shows up to Raw,
Then Goldberg gets
As
a
World
title match.
Heavyweight-
Goldberg defends at SummerSlam against somebody. I
shows up
guess.
shows up in a muscle car every week to make you forget that this is a. Well, no, it perfectly encapsulates. This is a 58-year-old man walking around with a world championship, riding around in some classic American muscle. Big blocks, boys.
Champion.
I
And he
heard
just
none of
took
that.
it.
I heard none of that. Sorry, your microphone hasn't been great today, admittedly.
Maybe Goldberg's the last real champion, and he just takes the title home with him.
Oh,
Yeah.
hell no.
Yeah, why don't we just have Cena and Goldberg both take titles home with them, and we have no champions on the main roster?
Oh, Christ. Imagine an attitude era and a ruthless aggression era guy holding the main titles in WWE in 2025.
Yeah, I mean,
Not
it's,
an
Fuck me.
attitude area guy, a WCW guy.
yeah.
Get that
Same
correct.
thing. Same thing.
No,
Time periods,
Roman's
brackets.
not in the WWE in the Attitude Era. Was it the main guy in WCW during that era?
Proxy attitude era. We'll say it like that.
Attitude
Proxy.
adjacent. Attitude adjacent.
Yes.
I'll
Thank you,
accept
Doc.
Jason.
But yeah, like, could you have a Goldberg title match at SummerSlam? I guess people would fucking hate it. It shouldn't happen.
It would be like every other time Goldberg has won the world title in his WWE career. When he won it in 2003, it was a month late and people didn't care. When he won it in 2017, people wanted to see KO over Chris Jericho main event Mania. And when he won it in 2020, it completely ruined the Fiend character. Until the Firefly Funhouse, which was admittedly amazing. But then they failed miserably after what happened. So Gunther 1,000% needs to win here.
Yep,
Yeah. No argument there.
that
None
is
whatsoever.
Saturday night's main event.
Two down.
Next, as we're rapid firing through these because we have to. Next up
So much.
is the Evolution card. Evolution will also be at the State Farm Arena. That's going to be on Sunday, 7 p.m. Eastern. There's currently 7 matches on the card, starting with Becky Lynch defending the Women's Intercontinental Championship in a triple threat match against Bayley and Lyra Valkyria.
I think Becky retains. I think they're probably going to run Becky Bayley at SummerSlam. Lyra can go and do something else. I kind of think Lyra is taking the pin here. Be it a fluke roll up or not, it really doesn't matter. No disrespect to Lyra. Her last little bit in the IC title and her feud with Becky has been great. But I think Becky and Bayley is kind of the money match for that division. Becky retains.
I'm going to take it one step further as far as that goes. I also think Becky retains for what it's worth. I wouldn't be surprised if we get Becky versus Bayley with Lyra as a special guest referee at SummerSlam. SummerSlam has a big habit of liking special guest referees, so
Now that you mention it, yeah, that does sound accurate.
Yeah, so I wouldn't be surprised to see Becky versus Bailey with Lyra as the special guest referee at SummerSlam. But yeah, Becky retains.
How are we feeling about the Becky reign thus far?
It's been fine.
Yeah, it's been a solid women's feud, I think. My thing is like, is this what you want a mid card title to be? That's my biggest challenge with it. It's like, 'cause these are two main card, like top billing talent in Bailey and
Mhm.
Becky, taking the spotlight for what should be maybe a bit more up and coming or trying to turn the corner talent, right? So
Sure.
this could very easily be for the women's championship, right? Like the women's
Oh,
world
absolutely.
championship. There's no reason it couldn't be.
Absolutely.
You could have this exact same feud for the main event title and have talent that need the mid card a bit more in the mid card. So I would say that's still my only issue with it, but the feud itself I think has been
Sure.
fine.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I just figured to check 'cause, like, I know that like we've been have our own criticisms about, and in some cases, very well justified of, what does it mean for a veteran like Becky to, especially when you're trying to build prestige in this new championship, right? And for someone who had a good reign like Lyra did, right? A good strong first reign, then like what are we kind of developing this championship into as we pass it on to someone who's done literally everything there is to do in the business, right? So, um, I mean, I agree with you guys. I think Becky retains here. Becky Bailey is the match. Lyra will get involved some way, somehow. Um, I'd like to see, regardless of how Lyra loses or whatever, just continuing to build on her character because she is a women's main eventer, I believe. Um, and I think it's just a matter of continuing to refine the reason why people should care about her beyond her in ring savvy. And I think they're doing a good job with that,
Her character work
progressively
in
speaking.
the Becky feud has been great. Her promos have been very good. She's been steadily raising her stock.
Bearing in mind, too, this is also someone with whom she is very familiar and very comfortable, too. So then how can she take that and adapt it going forward? That's what I would kind of like to see as well. Because there have been plenty of cases where people have had good little bottles of lightning, right? Where it's been someone who they've known, someone they're very comfortable with, familiar with. And then when they try to take it outside of that dynamic, then things just kind of fall flat. And they can't, that it prevents them from becoming like superstars. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So I'd be very interested to see what happens with Lyra. I think Bailey is also a good one to build off of too. Um, in any case, it's great that she's working with two very, standout veterans of the game. But I'd be very interested to see like what's next for Lyra post SummerSlam. Because like again, I said I feel like with you guys, I don't think she gets the belt back at Evolution,
Nope.
and I don't think she has a match for it at SummerSlam.
Nope.
So
Next up is a no holds barred match: Jade Cargill versus Naomi.
interesting to put this match since I feel like we all kind of know what's happening come SummerSlam or can guess like maybe a precursor of things to come. But
They've had one match already. Jade won. Jade
right.
is Queen of the Ring and challenging the women's champion at SummerSlam. And
Hmm.
Naomi is the Money in the Bank holder. So if we
Right.
take those things together, 2 out of the 3 reasons should tell you that Jade should win this match. And the third is the fact that Naomi hasn't beat Jade yet. So maybe Naomi should win this match. But my thing there is 2 out of the 3 say Jade should win, therefore Jade wins this match.
Yeah, it's kind of my feeling on it too. I liked their WrestleMania match. I thought it was fine. I think with it being a plunder match, maybe it'll be a little more fun. Maybe we see a Jaded through a table. I'm sure that the fans will chant for tables every 20 seconds, and it's going to piss me off.
It's got to
Naturally.
be through a windshield, cry me a river,
Real
Fair.
glass.
real glass.
But I fully,
That's on brand for multiple reasons. So
yeah, exactly.
yeah.
I expect Jade to win. I don't see Naomi winning this match. So
Brandon, you didn't give a prediction.
If anything, Jade winning because I feel like you said, Naomi never beat Jade. She'll continue to not beat Jade until it really counts, and I'm gonna save that for another day. But that's my line of logic with that. So, and Jade also has to build momentum going into SummerSlam. So, because she is facing the WWE Women's Champion,
Yep.
whoever that may be.
maybe.
So,
Yep. For the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship, a Fatal 4-Way Tag Match, Judgment Day's Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez defend against the tag team of Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss, the tag team of Sol Ruka and Zarya, and the reunited Kabuki Warriors of Asuka and Kairi Sane.
I would like the Judgment Day to retain here. I think Charlotte and Alexa, they're gonna butt heads too much. Zaruka, they're kind of like we talked about. They're building that as a feud, and I don't want to see the Kabuki Warriors together. I want to see Kairi as a singles competitor. I want to see Asuka together. They can always come back together whenever, but I think the story with the Judgment Day with Roxanne stepping in for Liv has a lot of wheels, especially because it's just started. And I would like them to continue to be tag champs. This is the most interesting match the tag champs months, which is nice. That being said, I think they should retain, and if they don't, I would expect the Kabuki Warriors to win.
I agree. I think Judgment Day is super hot right now. I think it would not be a good, especially if we're talking about maintaining, building prestige of the women's tag titles. I feel like you have a golden opportunity to do that with Rox and Raquel. Raquel's been long overdue for spotlight. Roxanne, I feel like, is a good contrast to Raquel in a way, but they also have some, they got like the thing going on, and then like,
Tall.
huh?
One is tall.
Yes.
One is short.
Yes, one is tall, one is very small. So
There's
they
multiple
could do a
tag
lot of.
teams in this match with that. Charlotte is quite
Yeah,
tall, and Alexa is also very small.
you are correct on that.
They are
Actually, now that I think
they are
about it.
not unique in that. And anyways,
Well, I'll say this. Judgment Day is super hot right now, and I feel like they just really needed something for Asuka and Kairi to do for this pay-per-view, for this PLE rather, which is why they're teaming together for
I
the
want
tag
to point
titles.
out that this
Which
match
is,
was never supposed to happen.
yeah, I mean, by virtue of Liv being on the shelf, now we've got this, which doesn't make it categorically a bad thing. I think they could have a great match with it. You have four great teams in it. I mean, who's to say what Charlotte and Alexa, they on their own are good, but how they team. And then I feel like Rox and Raquel will be fun. Again, I anticipate them winning, but you have two seasoned teams in Zaruka and the Kabuki Warriors who will contribute positively to the match. So by virtue of that, I think it has all the potential to be really good.
I think this match will be
I
very
think
good. Yeah,
I agree.
I think it'll be a good stand-in for what we were anticipating.
I think it'll be better than the match we were supposed to get.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. I mean, yeah.
Okay, we have like 20 more matches to cover, so I need you to get to the point
Yep.
here,
No, I'm done.
please.
I'm done. I'm done.
Okay.
We don't need random tangents.
Yeah.
Overdrive.
Remember, there's like 78 matches at All In, so.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, so again, to that point here, I do think they retain. I think all three of the other tag teams have singles matches and other capacities that they should be venturing instead, two of which will be against each other. And the third, and we still probably should see Asuka versus Io. So I think Judgment Day retains here. For the NXT Women's Championship, JC Jane defends against Jordan Grace.
I think Jordan is probably going to win the title here. They could keep JC's reign going, but I think it's probably Jordan's time.
How does Blake Monroe factor in?
With a heel
That's what
turn
I'd
in
be.
the next few weeks.
Yeah,
I think there's a match that they could make of that, and I think by virtue of that, Jordan could win this match. What they do with JC? Is she main roster ready? Who knows?
I think JC's probably in
Possibly.
a similar situation that Indy Hartwell was when she won the title.
To be
Oh,
fair,
she
when
did win the title.
Thanks for your years
I
of
forgot.
service. Here's a title reign to do what we need to do to get somebody else a title reign. See you later.
I've
And
been
by see you
critical
later, I
about
mean reign
the way.
roster. I don't mean like future endeavors, to be clear. Yes.
Sure.
we
I've been
never meet.
critical about how they've managed the NXT Women's Championship as of late. I feel like it's getting hot potatoed a lot.
That's what
I feel
happens
like
when you have
it's.
hot new talent come in that is arguably more deserving than anybody currently there.
I mean, fair, but then you can argue like whether or not they need to be in NXT for very long to begin with. At least, does it warrant giving them the championship, right? Because like we've had, Rox had her long reign, but then Julia, we had
Julia,
Stephanie, we
Stephanie, yeah.
had JC, and then now it's probably going to be Jordan, and who knows how long Jordan's going to be around. Goes to Blake. Who knows how long Blake's going to be around? So it's just, I don't know. It just feels like it's not quite as prestigious when it's just jumping from person to person to person to person.
I mean,
But
inevitably, at the same time, though, you got to remember, like, this is supposed to be a development brand. So if somebody's ready to go to the main
yeah,
roster, like, why should they not have a chance to be champion, even for if it's just for a cup of coffee? Because, like, otherwise, you get scenarios where it's like Becky Lynch was never NXT champion, and then she's one of the greatest of all time, and then she feels obligated to go down to NXT to get a title reign. Like,
well, that was a weird situation in and
you
of
know what I
itself too.
mean?
I
Like
don't know. I feel
you run into that scenario if you have great talents in NXT and don't give them the championship because they have to get put to the main roster too soon. You know what I mean?
but then too, like you have the Intercontinental and United States Championship pictures that could use revamp right now. Like Julia was kind of, I don't know. I want to say like a band-aid on a problem. Guy like
Yeah,
Julia doesn't
she
deserve a
absolutely is.
championship.
I mean, we're not going to get into that right now because we're talking about this NXT
Right.
match, but yeah,
Yeah.
I think that has its own issues too. But
Right.
I do think Jordan wins here. I do think that
Hmm.
the storyline from there could easily be that Blake gets jealous because she also pinned JC Jane, but didn't get a championship for it.
Hmm.
That's your fire starter there potentially. But thanks, JC. You've been great on there for a while. You don't need to have an extended title. We don't need a Mandy Rose situation here.
Nope.
Yeah.
Short and sweet. It's all
Yeah,
needs to be.
there's too many good women on that roster to wait. Like, because you're gonna have Jada Parker, you're gonna have Sol Ruka still, right? You're gonna have
And
others. You're gonna have Lash Legend. Like, those are all
they're
women in the mid
for a
card
reason.
that need
And
it.
it's completely okay to be a transitional champion.
Yeah,
Like it's even if you're champion for a month, you can say you were still a champion.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, even like Fallon Henley probably needs to have a championship reign. But there's a lot of women in that middle card in NXT, Kalani Jordan, right? That are just so much depth in that middle of a card that you can't justify having someone like JC Jane hold the title for very long. Um,
Yeah, that's fair.
Next is I'll save this one for last. Let's go Tiffany Stratton defending her women's championship against Trish Stratus.
And
They
she
could have.
will.
She will. They could have built this up longer than a week. If you're gonna have Trish come in for a title match, bring her in earlier.
I mean, you could argue that that's some of the challenge with Evolution in the first place.
Yeah, they
Outside
haven't
of
done a great job.
outside of
of
where Nikki Bella was introduced, and then unfortunately didn't end up getting that match. Most of the things have been relatively rushed. But part of the problem with that is you have too many shows too close together. That right, you can't advertise Evolution when you have Night of Champions, and you can't advertise Night of Champions when you have Money in the Bank, and you can't advertise Money in the Bank when you have whatever, right? Like
Backlash and
part of the
fucking
problem with rushing so many shows together is that other shows don't get the right build, right? And that's what you're kind of seeing
right.
as a result here in Evolution. I mean, fuck, like SummerSlam's in 3 weeks, like
Yeah,
so
barely heard a peep about it.
yeah.
They did not get the timing right with where they put WrestleMania this year. Like Brandon said, it's kind of like they were doing this as a trial year. Hopefully next year, once they get everything figured out better and everything is spaced out and timed out a little nicer. But that being said, it is still Tiffy time. However, I don't know if it's going to be Tiffy time after the. I think there's a chance Naomi may cash in at Evolution.
Possible. And then you get Naomi for Jade again.
I think you may get a triple threat. Naomi, Jade, Tiffy.
I don't like that. I'd rather it be with Bianca than Tiffany.
Throw Bianca in there.
Oh, for the big three
And there's a very
for
clear
Naomi,
story with the
Bianca.
three of them, right?
There's a lot of ways they could go into it. SmackDown women's division for is like not shown as it should have been, has been at the top of the card, is very healthy. So
Next up, we have for the Women's World Championship, Io Sky defends against Rhea Ripley.
I would like Io to win and continue this being the only thing Rhea cannot get over. It's good for Rhea's character to have something, to have somebody that she cannot overcome. And I think the correct match for SummerSlam is Io. So,
Can you say that again? Your mic cut out.
the correct match for SummerSlam is Io Asuka.
Okay.
Hard for me to disagree with that. I think, and I hear what you're saying. I would love Rhea to have something to chase, have something to motivate her beyond solely the women's world title or like solely Liv Morgan. If you threw Io Sky in there as this new variable, great. Um, that being said, I don't know how much I like Io's chances in this one. I feel like their confidence in her being a solid women's world champion has kind of shown itself as waning since
But they haven't
WrestleMania.
shown the champion since WrestleMania at all. She's
That's my
barely
point.
on TV. That's not on Io. That's on the fucking producers and everybody.
But to that point, if they don't have confidence in her as a champion, why would they put her on TV regularly?
Whereas Rhea Ripley, regardless of how involved she is with anyone, receives prominent front and center feature. Like that's my thing about it, and especially heading into an event like SummerSlam. I agree, Io Asuka would be a hell of a match. However, you're going to have Rhea Ripley going into one of the second biggest PLE of the year, and she's not really doing anything major. I mean, if she doesn't beat her at Evolution, maybe she gets another match and beats her at SummerSlam. But at the end of the day, Rhea is going into or leaving SummerSlam with the Women's World Championship. And that's where I feel like at Evolution, especially now that they're focusing on this little thing where Io's got her number since the Mae Young Classic, I think this is where you see.
Yeah, because the story there has
Rhea
got
on
to
top.
be someone winning, like her getting her final chance, like her chance to finally win, right? And then does win. So, would you rather it be a
Right.
match that's for a championship, or would you rather it be a random match on Raw where it happens, right? Like,
Right.
it
Right.
probably should be when there's stakes involved to it. I don't want to see Rhea Ripley as champion again because we just run into the same problem where it's like, well, who the fuck faces Rhea for the championship if she wins, right? Like, sure, you could have a match with Asuka, I guess, but like that doesn't have a long shelf life to it either. It's part of the problem with having, like, we saw this with Bianca Belair when she had multiple title reigns and was, consistently winning, and we saw this with Rhea's earlier title reigns. The more people you feed to them, the harder it is to do anything with them after the fact. I don't want to see Rhea Ripley win this match. I think she might. I think there's actually a very good chance that she does, for the fact that Brandon said about she's got to win at some point if she keeps losing against the same person, right? So I think Rhea's going to win this match, and I'm not going to like it. I think the match will be good, but I won't like the result.
Yeah,
I'm sure
I think that's fair.
I just don't want to see Rhea as champ right now. I think Io's championship
Yeah.
has legs till SummerSlam.
It only has legs if they actually put her on TV, though, right? Like, she's done nothing.
I'm the biggest Io stan out there.
Yeah.
I have been Royal Rumble, so I'm
I know.
going to
Hey,
continue.
nothing wrong with being a stan, but like from a logical, like, why aren't they doing anything with this champion that they've had for like what 5 months now?
Yep.
Right? Like she was champion before WrestleMania.
Yeah, I know. It sucks to see that, but it's not on
And they
her.
have Io picking a person to face who she's already beaten consistently multiple times, right? I feel like the writing's on the wall, but again, like you said, Don, like I ain't gonna like it. That doesn't mean I got to,
Yeah.
you know.
And the last one we'll cover here is the women's battle royal. Winner gets a world championship match at Clash in Paris. So far, confirmed participants are Stephanie Vaquer, Ivy Nile, Nia Jax, Nikki Bella, Natalia, Maxine Dupree, Kalani Jordan, Jada Parker, Lola Vice, Lash Legend, Izzy Dame, Tatum Paxley, Selena Vega, Julia, and Candice LeRae. I'm sure there will be many more.
So, our buddy Jimmy from Stash Club, shout out to Jimmy, said on their podcast that he is doing something that he calls a milk bet. What that is that he's picking Nikki Bella to not win the match, and if she does win the match,
Okay,
he will
your mic cut out again when you said the name.
So Nikki Bella, if she wins the match, he will take a gallon of milk and take a video of himself pouring it over his head. And I am 100% in agreement that Nikki Bella should not win this match. I think it should be Stephanie. My pick. I'm gonna do the Stone Cold bet, where if Nikki Bella does win, I will take a video of myself Stone Colding some beers. And
Is that a punishment or a prize?
Say, Pierce, you should be doing this anyways. Come on. You're from Wisconsin, Pierce.
Because if you've ever Stone Cold beers, it's not easy. It gets everywhere. It's sticky. It's kind of gross. So, Jimmy, I'm gonna do that for you. Shout out to Jimmy. If you haven't seen Stash Club, definitely check them out. But anyway, Stephanie Vaquer is my pick.
Hard to bet against that. They've kind of been pushing her consistently since she's come up. She's a force to be reckoned with. Maybe there's a reason they've kept her off TV for the last little bit to build her up for this. That being said, I think Chelsea Green, I presume she'll be in it. I think she'd be a fun pick. I'm throwing a wild card out there. Chelsea Green with the dub.
Good pick.
I've got a
Thank you.
returning Bianca Belair winning this match.
Also good pick.
Yeah, concur.
So I think
But
this
if
one's
Nikki
wide
Bella
open.
wins,
Yeah, no Nikki Bella. No
I'm
Nikki
pouring
Bella.
beer over my head.
No, thank you. All right, so that is Evolution. We'll be reviewing all three of these shows next week.
Along with a fourth show.
Yeah, that currently has 8 matches. I'm sure we'll have 18 when we review it next week. AEW All In will also be on July 12th at the Globe Life Field in Arlington, Texas. Start time. Oh my goodness.
Early start time.
So 0 hour starts at noon Central. Sorry, I should go Eastern because that's so 1 Eastern and then 3 Eastern for the actual pay-per-view. So it competes directly with Great American Bash, which is an interesting. I know Great American Bash was tacked on after All In was, but start time's a little bit weird. Maybe it's a lighting thing that they're worried about. I don't know, but anyways, 8 matches on this card, starting with a 3-way tag team match for the AEW World Tag Team Championship sees the Hurt Syndicate defend against Jet Speed, Kevin Knight and Speedball Mike Bailey, and the Patriarchies, Christian Cage and Nick Wayne.
Jet Speed is a great tag team name.
They're also a great tag team.
Yes, that is accurate. That being said, it's pretty hard to get to pick against the Hurt Syndicate because if you did not know, they hurt people. But I'm
They
picking
have
the
so many
Patriarchy.
people to hurt.
I'm picking the Patriarchy.
Okay.
I don't know. I just have a feeling.
Okay.
You don't think that Christian Cage would save that last tag title run for his good buddy Cope?
That's what I
Well,
was gonna say.
I mean, it would make sense if they do Cope and Christian one last time. But I think it would be fun if at a baseball diamond, a dad and his son won the tag team title.
Yeah, good father son bonding activity, winning tag team championships together. Ask Dom and Rey Mysterio. But I feel, I feel it's kind of a similar thing that I might have mentioned with someone else. But when you have an act like the Hurt Syndicate with MJF, they're still building story with that group. I feel like Jet Speed's going to get a strong showing as they should. I feel like you're going to have shenanigans with Christian and Nick Wayne. At the end of the day, I think 4 people get hurt. And I think that the Hurt Syndicate retain their tag titles, at least this time.
Yeah, I've got a sneeze coming on, so you guys gotta talk for just a second.
They hurt people.
Anywho, about that fucking. Did you get your sneeze yet? I was going to start
It didn't want
putting
to come
over
out.
this.
It didn't want to come out. It didn't want to come out.
I was going to put over this Hinterland Door County Cherry Wheat Beer,
No, you're good.
which
So,
all you fine folks,
Indy, I bought tickets to the beer brawl, Brandon.
good for you. Did you? Wait, you said tickets. So do
Ticket. I bought a ticket. I should
You
say.
bought a ticket. Okay. I thought it was going to be one of those situations where I'd be Benoing you or whatever. But yeah, shout out to our good buddy, Big Trouble, Ben Bishop, who will be taking on Matt Cardona in that event. A little early promotion.
Matt Cardona was a great dude.
Yes.
Hurt Syndicate probably wins here. I feel like Adam Copeland gets some involvement in this because he's not injured again, is he? He didn't jump off a cage like an idiot again.
No, he's been out since the FTR attack. So
Right. And FTR isn't even.
they had a very good match with the Outrunners last week. It's probably the Outrunners they've had.
I mean, the Outrunners, in fairness, aren't known for their match quality, so.
You son of a bitch.
It's hard not to have a good match with FTR also.
We were thinking a few months back that we were going to end up getting FTR versus Cope and Christian out of this, but
I guess not.
no.
I wish. That would have been sweet.
Yeah, so I think Hurt Syndicate retains, I guess.
They hurt people.
Next up for the AEW TNT Championship, Adam Cole, baby, defends against Kyle Fletcher.
Full name, Kyle Fletcher.
Not shown the TNT Championship since Adam Cole. You have one of the biggest stars in wrestling, in Adam Cole, and can help build the championship back up to its.
I am gonna already stop you right there. Adam Cole is not one of the biggest stars in wrestling and hasn't been now for a number of years. Sorry.
Still Adam Cole, baby.
Yeah, that's been a lot of damage done to that persona over the last few. Basically, since he's been in like that AEW debut was like the peak for him, and I would go as far as saying that death match they had when they put a crown of thorns on him on Good Friday or whatever it was. It's all been downhill since there. Like that was pretty blasphemous.
Better than
it was pretty blasphemous.
That was the next year, and that was great. Didn't end well, but
no, it ended terribly. It ended terribly.
2 years ago, he main evented Wembley. You got to remember that. Either way,
sure.
I will always love Adam Cole. That being said, Kyle Fletcher wins.
Kyle Fletcher is building way too much momentum right now for you not to coronate him in some way, shape, or form. And let's face it, like you said, Donnie, like Cole has not been a name brand since What I think fucked him over was that bullshit that they did when they tried to explain the Devil storyline and they did the double turn with
yeah.
MJF and Cole. That
That
made no
was
fucking sense
what a
whatsoever. I think
shit
that lost
show
a
that
lot
was.
of. I think that lost a lot of good faith in Adam Cole in general, like as a character, and then like what AEW would potentially even really want to do with him. Like they didn't take care of him in that
No,
instance, and
and
I
it's
feel like this
unfortunate.
is
Yeah, it's unfortunate he's had a lot of injuries, right? To
yes,
lead to situations like that, but management did
yep,
him no favors.
not
So
at all. And frankly, I think the TNT title is a pittance these days. Like, I mean, yeah, Adam Cole would, you would think, be a great name to kind of restore some of the prestige to that championship. But let's be frank. You have the Mox Hangman match that's coming up. You have Omega Okada for the International Unified, whatever the fuck else, championship coming up too. It's very much a tertiary title where, and it's in a weird spot, right? When you consider its importance to the lore of AEW. But I mean, yeah, and again, it's good for Kyle. I think Kyle can build the belt, frankly, better than Adam at this point. Adam needs something, but the TNT title and a continued run with it at Kyle Fletcher's expense, it ain't it.
I don't know what you
My
do
two
with
cents.
Adam Cole. I don't know what you do with Adam Cole. That's the thing. Like, there's been so much damage done to his character over the last, basically, yeah, since that MJF feud that ended terribly due to injury. He's been a sitting duck since then, more or less. So,
Yeah,
I think Kyle Fletcher wins.
unfortunate, but yeah, agreed.
Uh, in a tag team match where I'll say who's in it first. So a tag team match with Swerve Strickland and Will Ospreay versus the Young Bucks. If Ospreay and Strickland lose, they cannot challenge for the AEW World Championship for 1 year. Specifically 1 year, not forever. They've learned from Cody Rhodes. And if the Young Bucks lose, they will be stripped of their executive vice president titles.
So I think we can safely predict the main event of All In 2026. Yeah, but I don't see the EVPs losing, frankly.
I actually do.
I don't know what you guys think.
I think the
Oh,
Young should 1,000% lose this match.
1,000%, you say?
No, that's not going to happen. It's not going to happen for multiple reasons. One,
Go ahead.
they're not going to
Name
lose.
one.
They're not going to lose their EVP titles. Two, the title
Thank
contingency
you, brother.
specifically being 1 year means they can afford not giving them a title match for a year and them still probably be okay. And three, one of Swerve or Ospreay will turn in this match, and it's probably
I
going to
think,
be Swerve.
yeah, that's fair. I think the Young Bucks can take the loss. I think everybody has been sick of them. EVP really kicked off when they were kind of just becoming these huge mega dicks, and I think Swerve and Osprey would be fun for the win. I do see where they would lose, so but I'm gonna pick Swerve and Osprey.
I guess you just give that contingency in the fact that Will and Swerve can afford not to be world champion for a year. Like they'll be over on their own. They can build stories on their own. They don't need the world championship. And when you consider we've speculated, right, in the past, like we've got Hangman and Mox, that's a given, but we've speculated at other potential contenders that might be vying for the world championship and could benefit from a world title reign, short, long, or whatever in between, right? So I think Osprey and Swerve are like obvious contenders, but it's not imperative to make them champions like right now,
Agree. They could have a feud that carries them just between the two of them for 4 to 6
right?
months, right? Like half
Hmm.
that time could be a feud between the two of them that gets like off here and there. No different than the Swerve and Hangman feud, right? Where they have a
Most
feud
definitely.
and then they go do something else and they get back together and then they go do something else. Like you can do that easily here and a year will fly and neither of them should be damaged by that. So
Fair enough.
Agreed.
Young Bucks win. Uh Next
Hate it
up,
though.
we have both the men's and women's casino gauntlet for a future world
Do
championship
we
match.
Do we want to wait on those and do the other matches,
No,
or do we want to?
we are talking about those right now because I've
Okay.
already brought them up, and we're not sure what the main event is going to be between the other three matches. So
Donnie gets what Donnie wants.
Just with how you went for Evolution, I wanted to be sure.
yeah, that's fair. That Evolution, I guess maybe Io Sky and Rhea Ripley would be the main event, but like that's not particularly clear. And this one could also have the winner of this could very much influence what happens later in the show too, potentially.
That is
Yes.
accurate.
So let's start with the women's match first. Who wins?
Well, right now they
Who's
only
even
have
on
one
the
announced.
roster here for them to win, right?
They have one announced participant in fucking Chris Statlander.
Is that
Um,
yes?
Oh, there you go.
She is the first entrant. Yes.
I don't know, Megan Bain. I'm gonna pick Bain. I'll take the Megasis. I don't really have any idea. No, actually, Thekla. Get the Toxic Spider. Push her to the moon.
She can do her fancy little Bray Wyatt trick after she wins.
Yes.
I am hoping for, because I presume they finished filming American Gladiators by now. I'm hoping for a returning Camille
That's not going to happen.
because you don't think so?
It's gonna be
Just by
like
virtue.
She's in
Zelina
Guantanamo
coming.
Bay.
No pop.
She's in
You
Guantanamo
got to release
Bay.
for
Thanks for
come on
that
for
person
one
who
night
definitely
only.
has no creative control whatsoever in Mercedes Monet.
I mean, there's a match. I'm just going to play fantasy poker for a second, not to spoil, but if you have one potential winner for the match that's coming up for that championship that they're vying for a contendership spot for, there is a ready-made story if Camille were to win. I will
It's like
just
there's a
put that
ready-made
much
story
out.
for Austin Theory versus John Cena, and it's not going to happen.
Oh, I knew it was
Come on,
coming. I
Brandon.
knew it was coming. I should have known.
She's in
I should have
Guantanamo
known.
Bay. Thanks to the
It's
person
been
who
There's
a
doesn't
year.
have.
chance for ROH to sell out a 10,000 seat arena.
Oh,
Thanks to the
well, they got
person
Super
that
Card of
doesn't
Honor
have
coming
any
up.
creative control.
Athena
I have no creative control, but I just get to tell my boss what I want, and he'll do it. Not creative control though. No,
Guys, did you know that Beast Mordos is in the Death Riders now? And and totally not Claudio Castagnoli, who is scheduled to be in that match.
Hey, Johnny, who do you think's going to win this match?
Harley Cameron.
Oh, that's a good shout.
That's solid. That's solid. Well deserved too.
That's
Also-
a match with a
Also
potential
very-
winner that you could have that people would be more interested in.
And for either who wins the match too, like I would for either Tony or Mercedes, that's gold either way, for different reasons. But
What's your
that's
pick?
solid. That's a
If Tony wins, Thekla is the obvious choice there. If Thekla, I don't know how they build that Mercedes Thekla match, but I like the Toxic Spider's chances. So
Brandon, who's your pick?
Camille. Remember?
No, you said
before
you're
you
gonna
started-
to
Before you
appear.
started
She's not
shitting
gonna
on me
win.
endlessly,
No.
So-
You said she was gonna show up. You didn't say she was gonna win.
I
There's
said-
even
well,
less
that's-
behind it.
sorry. To be,
So
to
if
be
we had
clear,
an OK
that was my
championship, we
pick.
put points on whoever on these predictions, right? And one of us wins the championship at the end of the day. Brandon is not winning the fucking championship.
I think you
for
should
that
lose
prediction.
points for that one.
Oh, we'll see. We'll see.
God. Right, that's right up there with three days fucking WrestleManias.
Oh, come on now. That's not a terrible idea if you really think about it.
Or Ron Killing's world champion.
Also not a terrible idea.
He's already.
I mean, at this juncture,
He's already been ruined.
he's already. Yeah, he's kind of. He needs a little pick me up.
Men's Casino Gauntlet match.
Darby Allin. It's not even a question.
Does he come
I
with a
think-
Sherpa?
He should.
He should. He absolutely should.
Sherpa and a mule, and a nice pick.
And
He hasn't used a nice pick in a match yet, has he?
to jump out of.
Yes, he should be jumping out of a helicopter with a Sherpa, but for in the interest of safety, I'll just take a Sherpa coming with him. You can even have
Sherpa on a-
you can
Sherpa
even
on a
have the
skateboard.
Sting entrance. You have this. Think of it this way: you have the Sting entrance where the snow is coming down. Everyone's like, "Oh my God, Sting's coming back for a one-up," and it's actually Darby Allin coming from the fucking Himalayas.
With the song "I Fell" playing as he's plummeting from 30,000 feet
It's
with a
brilliant, man.
parachute and a
It's
Sherpa.
brilliant. Quite frankly, I should be a writer here. It sets itself up.
Oh, man.
If
You
they
know,
have a Sherpa,
for the sickos, Donnie,
the
for the
ring
sickos.
entrance, can the Sherpa be on a skateboard?
Yes, absolutely. The Sherpa should be on a
Mm-hmm.
skateboard.
And
He
the
should
mule
hit
on a skateboard too.
Yes.
the Sherpa should hit the landing on a skateboard, or he should go off. He should land on a ramp and then just do like an Evil Knievel over the fucking ring with fireworks. They're in Texas. Like, why would they not fucking do that? That's what I
I
wanted.
also point out one extra return for this match.
Sure.
If he's good, we got to see Eddie Kingston return.
Yeah, he's overdue.
He'll return, but he ain't gonna win.
Nope.
Because last year's casino match was fucking insanity. It was just banger after banger after banger. of
Three
people, so
confirmed
we just
entrants so far are Mark Briscoe, MJF, and Mystico. So
Mystico.
Well,
I'm surprised they're continuing that feud, and it's spanning companies too. They're doing shit over in MLW with those guys as well.
oh,
I mean, good for both guys involved. I think it's a good change up for both, frankly.
did you have a prediction for this match?
I find it hard to go against the male fantasy of Darby Allin skydiving from the heavens with ice pick and Sherpa and a mule and skateboard. I find it hard to go against all of that. I think that's solid.
Yeah.
Even if we
All
get
right.
a fraction of that.
Unanimous.
any other returns that we're thinking for this match?
Wardlow? American Gladiators is done, right? Filming?
He's also in con
Guantanamo
jail.
Bay.
But again, if we're considering you promote the show, I'm sure they'll put money forward to get their people out there, regardless of what Khan's stance on them happens to be. I feel like it's a good promotional opportunity, if nothing else. So
Is Keith Lee medically cleared?
Yes, he is. I would like to see Keith Lee return. It is in Texas.
yeah, that'd be solid.
Keith Lee. He would be
Well,
Yeah, that would be
big
solid.
return.
I bask in his glory.
Next is let's go with the one that's least likely of these. I mean, all three of them have an argument to be the main event here. I'm going to say the least likely one will be the unification match for the now going to be the AEW Unified Championship. What a stupid fucking name.
Garbage fucking name.
Kazuchika Okada and his Continental Championship versus Kenny Omega and his International Championship.
So I think this leads to the Continental being just the American G1, where the winner gets a title shot at, I don't know, Revolution or Dynasty or Double or Nothing, something like that. I don't think this is going to live up to the heights that everybody thinks it is. I think it's a great match. And I think Kenny Omega is to be the inaugural Unified Champion.
I mean, Kenny's shown he can pull it back out. He put on a 5-star in his first match back, I want to say, from his recent medical complication. Okada can pull it out. He's shown that against Speedball Mike Bailey already, and I believe only Speedball Mike Bailey. That being said, he's not going to pull any fucking punches when it comes to Kenny, and especially not for a show as big as All In will be. I think they're going to have. It's not going to be any of their New Japan matches, but it's going to be one of the better matches in AEW's history. I feel, especially all things considered, and I think Omega wins this one. It'd be sad for Okada.
Yeah, I also think Kenny Omega wins this match. Okada hasn't done a whole lot. He was kind of gifted a title when he first walked in, more or less. Hasn't really done much otherwise.
I mean, if anything, Okada can. He's one of those guys too, where like he can show up in the world title picture whenever. If anything, the Continental Championship's been an anchor for him for this last bit. I know he's faced off against world champions in the past with it too, but like, I think it's about time we put Kazuchika Okada firmly in the world championship picture.
I
And
agree.
that means by losing to Kenny, that's fine.
You have the greatest Japanese professional wrestler, arguably of all time, and you just kind of have him floundering. Push him to the moon. It's fucking Okada.
Next is for the Women's World Championship. Timeless Tony Storm defends against Mercedes Moné.
The match one of us would like to main event. And I don't have much to say. The build for it has been pretty solid. It's been odd, but it's, Tony Storm. It's going to be fucking odd. But Tony Storm is going to get her title taken from her by the belt collector. Monet wins. Hopefully by submission, because her finisher sucks.
Because her finisher fucking sucks.
That's fair. It does.
Brandon, what do you think?
I think Monet's probably going to win. I don't see any reason for Storm to. I mean, and I believe correct me if I'm wrong, but I want to say her contract situation is coming up soon here as well.
No idea.
Where I want to say I read something that she was coming up at some point, like either like third quarter this year or something.
She's not going anywhere.
You don't think she's going anywhere? You don't think that WWE wouldn't back that money truck up by her door?
I think Tony Khan's also got a money truck. And
I'm sure he does.
Deeper money truck. Well,
yeah, that's fair. But then again, it's all about what they're willing to offer her, right? And what Tony Storm would want to do with her career going forward. I mean, again, we've said it in the past. She's already a 4-time AEW Women's Champion. She's arguably at the zenith of what she's going to do. Like, there's some more additional intrigue with this Carmen Sandiego getup she's got going on now. That kind of adds layers to her character.
Jesus Christ.
But like, I mean, it's close as a comparison as I could get. But I mean, it's it's tough. I don't want to see Mercedes win, but I'm pretty sure she's going to win.
Has Mercedes lost a match in AEW?
She is not.
No. Nope. And I don't think she's close. I mean, I'd like to see her lose at least the TBS title, for fuck's sake. Like, we've got enough solid women on the roster. Clear up the mid-card title at least. But, well, I guess they had their chance with that, but then that...
They're just going to strip her of it like they did with Vaquer, since she can't defend both, and that way she doesn't actually have to lose it. Which is a stupid fucking bullshit.
In spite of the fact that she holds 6 other championships that might be in conflict of interest with what she's currently doing in AEW.
So fucking stupid. Mercedes wins this match. It might be a good match. I will not like the result. This is very similar to if Rhea Ripley wins. Probably the right person to win, and I will not like it.
Yes.
Yeah, it's going to say what you will about her character and her possibly having creative control.
Possibly.
Just come on. We don't need to get into that. She's a very good professional wrestler. Tony is great in ring. I expect this to be a great match.
Yeah, I think they'll back it up for sure. I think they'll back up the billing. Again, I'm just not going to like it.
And the last match to cover is for the AEW World Championship in a Texas death match. Jon Moxley defends against Hangman Adam Page.
We're running it back.
What is the over-under for Moxley bleeding within the first 5 minutes of the match?
Moxley might be bleeding walking into the ring, a la Goldberg, Undertaker.
Or like Sandman busts himself open, like, you ain't doing this. He's like gashing himself.
Yeah.
Like a pig.
Yeah, Moxley's going to bleed like no tomorrow. He'll love every second of it. I probably won't.
No, you'll love it.
Death Riders are going to get involved. It's gonna be a fucking just shit show, overbooked match, and still AEW World Champion Jon Moxley.
I agree. I don't have much else to say. I'm sure the match with the plunder and everything will be fun. Their first Texas Death match was pretty. I'm sure this will be bloodier than the last one.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I expect Moxley to retain.
Brandon?
I mean, we've speculated as to whether or not a particular Casino Gauntlet Battle Royale winner might involve themselves in this match, at which point it would make sense for Moxley to be the winner. And in other contexts, I think Hangman. I think if all doesn't go according to that particular plan, I think Hangman might be the one to put him out. I think he's been building himself up as kind of a company guy. That was especially apparent in Grand Slam Mexico when he cut his promo in Spanish. Like that very much was company ambassador type shit, in addition to cowboy shit. But
Does
I
that
think that
coincide
kind
with
of
Paul Heyman cutting a Spanish promo? Is he also
oh
then?
Christ,
Weird.
that was a butchery. I was following along with that, and I was putting some stuff in Google Translate as he said it. I'm like, this man is speaking nonsense.
Sorry, I had to
And speak,
when you made a hyperbole about someone speaking Spanish being the focal point. I can't not bring up what just happened this week, but go on.
fair. Well, I don't know that it was hyperbolic. I mean, I feel like when you have like a guy like Hangman coming out who's trying to, promote goodwill by speaking native language, right? Like, I feel like they could have put a lot of people in that
Devil's
position, but they
advocate,
picked us.
arguably the worst period in AEW television was when Hangman Adam Page was world champion.
See, I don't know what to say about it because I don't really recall that period all that much. I might have to go back and look at it again, but maybe that's testament to what you're saying too. I don't know.
Sorry?
Great.
Yeah.
The lead
So
up to him winning was incredible. It's one of the greatest stories in professional wrestling ever.
But
But
like many lead ups, though, it has to follow up, and that's where the question lies as to was it really good or not. I mean, that could be a subject for another time too. But like,
matches. They had the Danielson matches, but anybody can have a good match with Bryan Danielson.
except for
yes, this
Okada.
is true. It
Except
was
who?
good.
Except for Okada.
They were good. They weren't great though. I think they were overhyped.
I mean, the one that
To
I saw
win.
was certainly overhyped.
Hard not to do that though. Hard not to hype the hype and fuck out of that.
Especially when it comes out to Final Countdown for the first time. But anyways,
Yes.
yeah, like I worry that a Hangman reign will fall flat again. I worry that the story they tried to tell at the very beginning of this Death Riders thing, if you don't end it in a way that you were kind of going, then it's like, what was the point? You could have had this Hangman match then 6 months ago and just alleviated all this bullshit that we've had for the last 6 months plus.
Tony likes a beginning, middle, and end to a story.
Well, the
And
ending being Hangman Adam Page winning does not make sense. Just like it didn't make sense for Swerve to win it, just like it didn't make sense for anybody else to win it. Except for Darby Allin, with or without a Sherpa.
And a mule.
Yes.
And a skateboard.
And an ice pick.
And an ice pick, yes.
So, Brandon,
Lest we
what's your
forget.
prediction?
Hangman. Adam Page.
Okay.
This time.
All right. That's our predictions. A little bit of a longer show. Next week's will also be a bit of a longer show as we talk about the results for all of this. But please tune into that as well. Thank you for tuning in to here. Anything else you guys wanted to add?
Cheers to a hell of a year.
Yeah, cheers to a year.
Yeah, happy birthday, guys.
Cheers to a hell of a year. Yeah, no, this has been really fun. I didn't know how far I was going to get after we met at WrestleMania 40, and I didn't think we'd be starting a podcast together. But yeah, I love the fact that we've been in contact, that we've been doing this. I love the fact that we met at 40, went to 41 together. and I'm excited to keep this going. I really enjoy getting together with you fellas, doing this whole shebang, and cheers to all yous.
Oh fuck!
So,
I was supposed to get beer for this. Ah, shit.
oh
They didn't either.
Christ, do you
cheers,
know
Mike.
someone in the biz?
Yeah,
Ah,
but they live basically a
sorry.
whole area code away.
Wow.
Well, cheers to the Ope three-way next week.
Fuck.
All of us collectively.
I need a
Yes.
reminder. I need a reminder for
Will
that. I'm
there
not
be
gonna
beer
lie.
in your fridge, Donnie?
I never keep
Donnie, I'm
beer in
gonna
my
put
fridge,
a.
man.
Really?
I
You
don't.
don't?
No, the only time I have beer in my
What?
fridge is if I have guests and there's leftovers. I don't keep booze in my fridge.
That's fair.
How about
That's fair.
seriously?
Mm. I try and be responsible. Besides, I spend my money on other shit.
That away. Well, yeah, you got plenty of good things to be spending money on nowadays, eh? Plenty
Yeah,
more worthwhile things, I'll say
a
that.
bunch of booze that other people are gonna drink at my expense.
Hey, with any luck, I might be able to sneak on up there.
Uh, all right.
Wish you guys well.
I got nothing else to add. Anybody else?
I got one thing to say. Thanks for stopping in the Ope three-way. Have a beer on us. We'll see you next time. Cheers to a year.